Hello, fourth and fifth graders. Today's writing lesson is going to be step 5, drafting. We have, up to now, been really making a plan. We have started with gathering our ideas, trying to figure out which one we were going to do. I chose a couple. And then once we had those ideas, we began to make a plan for them. You can see how messy making a plan really is. I told the story all the way out. I made a timeline. I broke it into pieces. That was step 4. I've decided I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different stories here, and I'm only going to tell one piece of this story, not the whole thing. So I've decided to tell this piece of the story, and it's the drive to the hospital, and what I was thinking and what we were doing. So now it is time for me to take this piece and make it something. We've made our plan, so now it's time to put that plan into action. And to do that, we're going to begin drafting. And that really means we're going to write the story. We're going to write our first attempt at this story. We will come back to it and look at it and make changes, but to begin with, we're just going to get our story down on paper. Now, the hardest part of any of this step is just to get started. Sometimes it's really hard to figure out where to get started. So I'm going to think for a minute. I'm going to think out loud here. I am starting with the drive. So where in my story should I start that? Perhaps I will start... Well, you know what? Let's start with me pulling out of the driveway. You know what? I'm going to move back, actually. I'm going to start with my... I'm going to start with my dad arriving. So one thing we're going to do as we draft is we're going to skip lines because we're going to want to come in and make changes, and skipping lines gives us room to do that. So make sure you're skipping lines in your notebook. So I'm going to start with my dad pulled up at the house. I handed Kincaid to him. And turned back into the house. I'm going to keep that up here. I got my wife to the car and pulled out of the driveway. All right, and what happens next? Let me think here. After I get in the car and we pull out of the driveway, I get on the freeway. So now that's a new idea. So I'm going to start a new paragraph. I get on the freeway and start going fast. Then what happens? I'm going to cross that out. My wife is lying back in her seat moaning. Let's say moaning in pain. That makes it better. I go faster. I pass my dad's car. Where am I going to go from here? So I passed my dad's car. I'm heading to the hospital. Okay, well, this is a start. I'm not going to bore you with continuing to write my whole draft, but clearly my story is not done. I'm going to write all the way up until I get to the hospital. That's where I'm going to... Getting to the hospital is where I'm going to stop my story. So I'm starting with leaving the house. Actually, I started even with my dad arriving here, which is a little bit further back in my story of the getting ready. And I go all the way up to getting to the hospital. That's my story. I have more to do. I'm going to work on the rest of my draft. So what I want you guys to be doing today is working on your draft. You have today to work on your draft. You have tomorrow to work on your draft. It will be due, your first draft will be due tomorrow. So you've got some writing to do. Mine's probably going to be a couple pages. I'm going to just flip this over and get started on my next part of my draft and get going while you guys do your work. That's our goal. We want to have a draft done by the end of tomorrow. So here is what I want you to do today. You're going to write your draft. You are going to use your plan, look back, make sure you're doing it the way you set it out, and be detailed. Write in the moment, just like we practiced with those other stories. Make a movie in your writer's head. The last thing is you might need to make sure you skip lines so that you can come back and add more if we need to, because we will be revising for sure. After you finish your draft, I want you to take a picture or pictures if you have more than one page of your draft, and you're going to share it to the discussion board in Schoology, the Step 5 discussion board. And then the final step is one of the most important. You're going to read at least 3 other people's stories, read their drafts, and comment on their work. Help them out and give them feedback. We are a community of writers, and writers share their ideas and grow from each other and give each other feedback. So tag them. Tell them something that you like about their story. Ask them a question that maybe helps them clarify their thinking. Give them a suggestion about what they are writing about. But your suggestion should not be focused on their grammar or spelling. This is a draft. Grammar and spelling do not matter right now. Crossed off lines do not matter right now. What matters is, are they writing in the moment? Is their story interesting? Is it exciting? Is there more details? Is it too long? Is it too short? What's the content of their story? All of these things need to be done by tomorrow, Thursday afternoon.